That's like the brother say, witch doctor. Give me Job chapter 13, verse 4. So we got to be aware of these things. We got to bring out all the precepts on Halloween. Because that's the times we coming into.
I forgot to wear my shirt in Jeremiah 10 too.
Hey, learn not the way of the heathen.
That's right.
You got the
African cannibalism?
Yeah.
I got a whole bunch on it.
Yeah, just read that one. South African cannibal case, men get life sentences. Bring that out.
Right, so this is the South African cannibal case, right?
Right.
The case, which has horrified South Africans and been dubbed locally the cannibal case, came to a close on Wednesday with Mabata 33. Hold on, let me click on. This is CNN News.
And these South Africans, right? And these, for example, in the Sudanese, those are ancient, or those are those are the ancient Egyptians, right? Those that dwell in the Sudan, South Africa.
God.
Those are the ancient Egyptians. All right, bring it out. The Egyptians wasn't white people, man.
Right.
Right? They didn't look like Tom Cruise.
Right.
And Adam Sandler. And George Clooney. And what's the other one? Right? I can't think of it. But bring this out.
All right, so this is reading on. This is CNN News about cannibalism, right? So it says, when a South African traditional healer wandered into a police station last year and told officers he was tired of eating human flesh.
He was what?
Tired of eating human flesh.
He couldn't stop eating human flesh. He couldn't stop eating man. Right? So this man had spirits and demons upon him. All right?
It's like they said he was a traditional healer. So he was what you would call your so-called doctor.
Yeah, he was a witch doctor. Yeah, a healer, those are just fancy words to cover up them being sorcerers.
Right.
And magi's. And they call the judge a magistrate.
Right.
Right? What does that mean?
What do it mean?
That's a sorcerer.
Oh.
All right, bring this up.
The book of Job 13 and verse 4. But ye are forgers of lies.
What's the Bible say?
But ye are forgers of lies.
Say ye are forgers of lies. Esau, the so-called white man, he forged lies on the earth. He puts forth falsehood. Right? To say that a man can lie with another man. To say that it is okay to sleep with little children. To say that it was okay or it's just labeled as a misdemeanor to have sexual relations with animals. That's a lie, man. The Lord said you ought to be put to death in the scriptures.
That's right.
All right, bring this up.
Ye are also physicians of no value.
You are physicians of no value. What is a physician? Right? An ancient physician is what you would call a modern day doctor. That's right. So the Lord said they are doctors or healers of no value. For example, case in point, this South African man who went into the police station and said, look, I'm tired of eating human flesh. So he had spirits on him, man. He had a demon on him. Several.
Yeah, that's a cannibal demon.
That's awful right there.
That's wild.
That's disgusting. He said, but aren't we reading about these men?
Yeah, right
All right,
now.
bring it out. Wisdom of Solomon 12 again. Right, we're reading about these men. Now give me Leviticus chapter 20 and verse 6. All right, Leviticus chapter 20 and verse 6. Bring this out.
12 and what?
12 and 3.
Wisdom of Solomon 12 and verse 3. For it was thy will to destroy by the hands of our fathers both those inhabitants of the Holy Land. Verse 4. Whom thou hatest for doing most odious works of witchcraft.
Odious works of witchcraft. Read on.
Salakia, and wicked sacrifices. Verse 5. And also those merciless murders of children, and devourers of man's flesh.
And the what?
And devourers of man's flesh.
And devourers of man's flesh. Case in point, South African man who went into went inside the police station and it was crying out to the police and the officials of South Africa that he was tired of eating man's flesh. All right? Now give me Leviticus 20 and 6.
It's the book of Leviticus, chapter 20 and verse 6. And the soul that turneth after such as having familiar spirits.
It's having what?
Familiar spirits.
Familiar spirits. Those are demons. They always been here. Those are familiar spirits, man. For example, when your grandmother or anyone dies, and you might, I don't know, you might see I don't know, you might you might think it's her.
Yeah.
That's grandma.
Yeah, you hear a door creak.
You might hear a door creak. You might see her favorite bird.
Yeah.
Right? Or you might see you know, you might get a scent of her smell out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Look, that ain't your grandma, man. She in the spirit world.
Right.
All flesh goes back to the earth.
That's right.
All spirits go back to the Father.
Ecclesiastes.
So that's not your grandmother.
That's
That's a familiar spirit, man.
That's right. That's right.
That was familiar with your grandmother, knew her ways, knew her scent, knew her smell.
Wow. That's right.
But that's a demon within that household.
That's right.
Trying to get you to believe that's your grandmother. Now you talking to ghosts.
God, and you
That's
bugged
right.
out. It's going
Bugged out.
to gradually bug you out, man. That's what it's coming to do.
Right? Keep reading on to that.
Reading on, and it reads, and after wizards, to go a whoring after them.
And the Lord said that's whoredom.
Sister, you got a minute for the Bible, sister?
All right, sister, you're an Israelite, sister. God chose the people, sister. Right, all praise to the Most High. So it say to go a whoring after them, because this is whoredom, man. Because we married to the Lord. So when you go after other gods, that's you playing the harlot.
That's right.
That's you committing adultery against the Lord.
That's right.
That's you being unfaithful and disloyal against your God, man. So the Lord said that's whoredom. Read on.
I will even set my face against that
The
soul,
Lord said he's going to set his face against you. Read on.
and will cut him off from among his people.
And the Lord said he's going to cut you off from among your people. So, brother, you're an Israelite, brother. God shows the people.
That's right.
You must come back to the Lord, repent, and keep God's laws in these last days.
Also, just ignore spirit.
Right? All right, then bring it out.
Verse 7, sanctify yourselves, therefore, and be ye holy.
Be ye what?
And be ye holy.
What does it mean to be holy? It means to be set
Separated.
apart. That's
Separate.
right. So we got to set ourselves apart from the ways of the so-called white man and the
Right.
heathen nations.
Right.
Right? For example, we got to stop celebrating Halloween.
Right.
We have to stop participating in Christmas. We have to stop meddling and mingling in damn Halloween, man.
That's right.
And Easter.
Yep.
And St. Patrick's Day.
That's right.
And Groundhog's Day. Because all these things are abominations.
Con.
It's not the traditions of the Israelites.
Right.
All right, keep reading.
For I am Yahweh, your God.
I am Yahweh. Or he is the Yahweh, our power. Now give me Leviticus 19:31. Right? Even April Fool's Day. Stop celebrating April Fool's Day, man. Because that also represents our demise. Right? Because when they issued in the Gregorian calendar, we still had Israelites that was following the Hebrew calendar. Right? We still understood that we keep our beginning of the months in March and April. So we was still keeping it, and they was mocking us, calling us April Fools. All right? So
Okay.
that's the history behind April Fool's Day, man. And you can look it up.
Con.
All right, then bring it out.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 19 and verse 31.
Right?
Regard not them that have familiar spirits,
Hey, regard not those that have familiar spirits. Read on.
neither seek after wizards to be defiled by them.
Stop seeking after these wizards, man.
Tarot cards. People trying to tell your future and all that.
Yeah, how you gonna tell another man's future? You ain't the Most High,
That's right. It's wicked.
right? You got people that deal with tarot cards now.
Right.
They inquiring about their astrological sign. Oh, the Pisces, rising in Aries, moon and damn Sagittarius. That's all an abomination. You got people that's into that now. Tarot card reading, right? Palm reading, crystal balls, crystal gazing, right? Even Jake on the low level, he's selling drugs to his people. He's a wizard, man.
Right.
He's a sorcerer.
Right.
So don't go after Jake. Hey, brother, I'm trying to get some paper. All right, this is how you got to do. You got to cook it up. You got to put it in the pot. You got to let it re-rock.
it up.
Yeah, you got to do the thing on it, and you mixing together these potions. It's a potion.
Exactly what it is. Now these brothers, now they got this damn thing where they going to people's grave sites. It might be some like a celebrity or something.
Yeah.
They going to the grave sites with the voice box, trying to talk to the dead, picking up spirits, like the brother said, familiar spirits, demons.
They doing that, man?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
Salakia, Dr. Umar had a video out where he was doing that. He went to the grave site He was praying to the ancestors. Right? That's just a fancy way of saying Damus, man.
Right.
So don't be lied to by these unconscious guys, man.
God.
Right? Because you're not talking to Frederick Douglass. You're not talking to Marcus Garvey. Neither are you talking to Malcolm X, man. Right? Their flesh is in the earth. Their spirit is in the spirit world with the Most High God. Right?
Yeah, you right.
Now bring this up.
To be defiled by them.
To be what?
To be defiled by them.
Because that defiles your spirit. And that can totally bug you out.
Right.
Right? You keep going to these witches and warlocks, spending all your money with them, and they got you in the loop.
Yeah.
They got you in the loop. There's stories out there like that, man. Look it up, man. You got people that's addicted to going to psychics. And they spend all, why you think these psychic shops are up and running? Because they get paid and they get money.
God. It's very heavy in Louisiana.
Yep. Yeah, in Louisiana, they're into voodoo.
After such,
Keep reading. They're heavy into that voodoo. And that's why the Lord be judging Louisiana.
Yeah.
That's why the Lord be jacking up New Orleans.
He is.
It's like you got a heavy population of Haitians
Right.
in Louisiana and also in Florida. Right. So down south, you know, voodoo. Also in New York, because you got a lot of Haitians in New York. You got a lot of Dominicans, Puerto Ricans. They into the Santeria, the worshiping of the dead. And Salakia in New Orleans, they have Mardi Gras.
Right.
That's the celebration of the dead. When did the Lord ever say celebrate the dead? Have a set apart day to reverence the dead. That's against God, man. The Lord said, matter of fact, Sirach 22:11, man. So much precepts, you know, but we're going to slow down and we're going to get to all of them through the Spirit of the Lord. Sirach chapter 22, verse 11. Hold that though.
Sirach 22 and verse 11.
Right?
Weep for the dead.
What the Bible say?
Weep for the dead.
Hey, so if your brother passed, or your father, or your mother, anybody in your family passed, you got to weep for the dead. You're going to feel that hurt because you had a genuine relationship with that person. Right? And death is hard to deal with, man. Yeah. That's why you need the Most High. You need faith. Some people, when they loved one die, they lose their mind.
So they don't want to live no more.
They don't want to live no more. They become alcoholic, drunkards. They deal with the needle now because they trying to deal with that pain. But the Lord is telling you how to deal with death in the Bible. The Bible explains everything. So the scriptures say, weep for the dead. Read on.
For he have lost the light, and weep for the fool, for he wanted understanding.
Sometimes we got to weep for our foolish brothers out here. Man. When we see Jake out here with his pants off his ass, fighting the air, talking to himself, man, we cry, man.
Yeah, for real.
No lie. We cry, man, when we see our women out here degrading themselves, yelling to the wind, cussing out men, being laughed at, being scorned, being mocked by these damn devils that ride up and down the street.
Right.
We cry about that, man, because it's a reproach among our nation. We cry at the scorn and derision. Keep reading.
Make little weeping for the dead.
Hey, make little weeping for the dead. Read on.
For he is at rest.
He is at what?
He is at rest.
Hey, so when the dead is at rest, he's at rest. Right? He's not in your living room. He's not in the basement. You still got everything set up the way grandma liked it.
You got the picture right above.
You got the picture. You got her coffee mug, where she always used to want it at. You got her favorite smell in there.
They even bring their ashes in the urn and put it in the damn living room.
Yeah, that's an abomination because the Lord ain't dealing with cremation.
That's right.
Right? The Lord deals with a burial. Scriptures say, forsake not his burial. Look that up. Keep reading.
Salakia. But the life of the fool is worse than death.
But the life of the fool is worse than death. Keep reading.
Verse 12. 7 days do men mourn for him that is dead, but for a fool and an ungodly man all the days of his life.
So a wicked and ungodly man, he always going to be mourning for the dead. And that can bug out his spirit. So what we telling you is, stop seeking after these psychics. Oh, your grandmother, she's in the room. I feel her. I feel her.
She's you, grandma. She just made that move over there to get my attention. That's all. That's all.
She wants you to talk to her. Right? Spookism, man. Hey, witches and warlocks scared of us, man.
Yeah.
Because they know we the true men of the Lord.
That's right. You can read about that in the Second Chronicles.
Right?
Yeah,
hey, my brother had a woman he was dealing with back in the day. They used to deal with a witch. And they called me about it because they know I'm in the scriptures. This was years ago. So I was giving her all the precepts on how we not supposed to deal with witches and warlocks.
Mm-hmm.
That's off, that's against God. I'm breaking it down. It's late at night too. I'm on my way to sleep. Spirit of the Lord hopped on me. I broke it down to them. They was like, wow. The minute I got off the phone, the witch called her and asked her, have she been talking to somebody? True story. True story, man. So that witch had demons. That witch was sending demons on that sister, man.
Right.
That was watching her every move. Those familiar spirits and taking it back to those familiar spirits go back to the witch and communicate to her what that woman was doing. So this stuff is real, man. This ain't just Hollywood and TV. This stuff actually happens.
Live and uncut.
Live and uncut. Hey, the spiritual world is just as real as the physical, man.
Right.
Everything starts in the spirit and manifests in the physical.
That's right. That's real talk.
You know? So keep reading on to that.
It's the book of Sirach, chapter 38 and verse 16. My son, let tears fall down over the dead.
Let tears fall down. And we cry, man. Hey, we done lost friends, man. I got childhood friends that's dead, that I grew up with, that we was with every day. Now they dead. Gun violence. Like, we really from the ghettos and the slums, so we lose a lot of people, man. We lose family members. We lose friends. So we weep for the dead. But when you're in the spirit of the Lord, you understand death. And it doesn't hit you as hard because you get it. You get that they with the Heavenly Father now. You get that they in the spirit world. They may not be here physically, but nothing physical lasts forever, man.
Right.
Right? Everything you see around you is going to decay and perish one day.
Begin to lament as if thou hadst suffered great harm thyself.
As thou hadst suffered great harm thyself. Read on.
And then cover his body according to the custom, and neglect not his burial.
And do what?
Neglect not his burial.
And neglect not his burial. So, in the ancient world, we didn't deal with cremation. That's wicked and off. Now, Jehovah's Witnesses, they deal with cremation, and different denominations, they deal with cremation. They burn their loved ones and they put them in their goddamn living room. How ironic.
That's crazy. Burning your flesh.
Keep reading.
Weep bitterly and make great moan, and use lamentation.
Use what?
Lamentation.
Use lamentation. Now drop that. Go to Leviticus chapter 20 and verse 7 again. Matter of fact, Leviticus 19:31. That's what I had. All right. So we just established how you have to have a burial. All right. Salaki, did you read forsake not his burial?
Yeah, that was it right there.
Con. We just read that you got to have a burial. You can't deal with cremation. And you can't seek out the witches and warlocks. Right? Keep reading.
It's the book of Leviticus, chapter 19 and verse 31.
And Salaki, you got to get out of this new age era where they, this energy, right? It's energy, the crystals, vibes, right? The vibes, the crystals, the energy, the higher level, right? You burning sage.
Right.
I heard a rapper say he burned sage. He's supposed to be in the truth, but he said he burned sage to the ancestors.
I think I know you're talking about too.
Yeah, man. All right, bring it out.
It's the book of Leviticus, chapter 19 and verse 31. Regard not them that have familiar spirits.
Regard not them that have familiar spirits. Read on.
Neither seek after wizards, and to be defiled by them. He is Yahweh your God.
Now give me Exodus chapter 18, verse 22. Where the Lord said, kill a witch.
It's the book of Leviticus. The book of Exodus, chapter 18 and verse 22. And let them judge the people.
Exodus 22 and 18. So that's what I want. Exodus chapter 22, verse 18.
The book of Exodus, chapter 22 and verse 18. Thou shalt not suffer a witch to live.
What God say?
Thou shalt not suffer a witch to live.
What Yahweh say?
Thou shalt not suffer a witch to live.
That's what the Lord God of Israel said.
That's right.
Thou shalt not suffer a witch to live. And the scriptures say rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft. So we don't want to deal with rebellious women, you know, witches. You know, a woman telling you she a witch, that's not a woman you should consult with.
Right.
That's not a woman you should deal with.
Right.
You got witches in Israel.
Dealing with chakras.
Dealing with chakras and the energy and the vibes and the crystals and the sages. Right? Next thing you know, you got a spirit on it. Next thing you know, you can't stop thinking about that woman. Because she put a damn love spell on you. A damn lust demon on you.
Put down a book of the Lord and start picking up some damn love spell book, man.
Yep. You know, keep reading.
What? They don't have.
All right, that's it on that. Right? That's all.
Yeah, thou shalt not suffer a witch to live.
Right, so the scriptures say thou shalt not suffer a witch to live. So what we telling you is Halloween is an abomination. Right? All the Halloweens and the origin of Halloween is wickedness. Right? It stems from the ancient Canaanites, but it was inherited by the Druids who were also Israelites.
Right.
But they were wicked. They were priests on the left-hand side. And they were Levites. And a lot of them was Northern Kingdom as well. That's because the Northern Kingdom, they started going off. I believe it's in Hosea.
Join themselves to idols.
They say Ephraim had joined themselves to idols. And it also say something about Ephraim doing sacrifices as well in Hosea. Can't think of it right now. But this is what our people was doing. So what we're showing you is we have to come out of these wicked ways and abominable works, man. And I got a packet out here. I got a packet that's pretty much goes into all the occultic holidays. Christmas, Halloween, Groundhog's Day, Easter, and it breaks it down. It gives the origin and the meaning behind these different holidays. All right, I'm gonna have to bring that out. Might do a sit down on that again. Right, bring that out. Okay, got a precept. Joint to idols.
Yeah, I got it.
Hosea 7 and 11.
No, I got 4:17.
All right, bring that out. Hosea 4:17.
This is the book of Hosea, chapter 4 and verse 17.
Right.
Ephraim is joined to idols.
What the Lord say?
Ephraim is joined to idols.
Right, Ephraim. We are Ephraim. The Puerto Ricans are joined to idols.
Right.
Santeria. Look up Santeria. SANTERIA.
Now dig this.
Where you at on time, man?
44 minutes.
Okay. You wanna put in your brick? So that's going into the worshiping of the dead. We're gonna bring it out. Bring this up.
The Santeria is an Afro-Caribbean so-called religion.
Right, so Salakia, notice it said Afro. So it stems from the Africans. Okay? The Afro-Caribbeans. In the Caribbeans, that's going into Haitians, Jamaicans, Dominicans, Cubans, Mexicans. Right? So this culture, this voodooism culture is heavy among the Caribbean islands. So pretty much the northern tribes of Israel. Right? Including the Levites and the so-called West Indians, which are Southern Kingdom, but they are also into that. You got it.
Based on Yoruba beliefs and traditions.
Right, read on.
With some Roman Catholic elements added.
With some Roman Catholic elements. So who were the Romans? They were Edomites.
That's right.
Right, Caesar Augustus, he was an Edomite. Keep reading.
The so-called religion is also known as La Regla Lacumi and the rule of OSHA. Santeria is a synthetic, is a syncretic so-called religion that grew out of the slave trade in Cuba.
See that?
Yes, Israel.
So our people picked up these traditions when we were dwelling in Africa. And we brought it to the Caribbean islands when we were enslaved by the so-called white man.
Dang.
Keep reading.
The beliefs of the Santeria. The Santeria faith teaches that every individual has a destiny from God, a destiny fulfilled with the aid and energy of the Orishas. The basis of Santeria, so-called religion, is the nurture of a personal relation with the Orishas. And one of the principal forms, with the principal forms of devotion is an animal sacrifice.
Animal sacrifices. And that's if you low level. Once you elevate and grow within this Santeria wickedness, you start sacrificing humans. All right? Why you think everybody died around your favorite rapper?
Yep.
Because he's sacrificing them, man. You know, Jennifer Hudson whole family died.
Come on now.
You know,
There's some more celebrities.
who died around Diddy? Biggie.
Mace. No, Mace. Biggie.
No, Biggie.
Biggie.
Who
There's
else
another
just died?
one.
What's her name just died?
He just
Craig
died.
Mack. Yeah, Craig Mack.
Craig Mack just died. And somebody else.
Shine had to do that prison time.
Yeah, that is your prison time. And he called Diddy a damn demon, man. A damn devil, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. He know what's going on.
He messed up a lot of his artists.
Yeah. Keep reading on that. So this is Santeria. So this is why we don't deal with it, because it's representation of worshiping the spiritual demon Satan, and we worship the Lord.
Right.
As for me and my house, we will serve the Most High God.
That's right.
We're not going to serve man. We're not going to serve the things that's contrary to the God of Israel.
That's right.
All right, then bring this up.
The Santeria developed among Afro-Cuban communities following the Atlantic slave trade of the 16th to the 19th century.
See that?
It formed through the blending of the traditional so-called religions brought to Cuba by enslaved Israelites, the majority of them Yoruba and Roman Catholicism. The only so-called religion legally permitted on the island by the Spaniard colonial government in urban areas of West Cuba, these traditions merged with Spiritist ideas to form the earliest cases during the late 19th century.
Salakia. It said slave Israelites.
God. Enslaved Israelites.
So they already know what the Israelites.
They know.
They know. That's right.
Just like they know the name of the Lord. They
Right.
know the name of the Lord.
Yep. So this is so-called Halloween. Look up Halloween. Matter of fact, look up Samhain. Samhain. Right? Samhain. Because that's what Halloween is about. Give me John chapter 4, verse 22.
John 8.
422. 422. Sorry. You Ishmaelites going to slavery.
That's right.
Hey, ticky, boom!
This is the book of John 4 and verse 22. Ye worship, ye
What?
Ye worship,
Worship. Read on.
ye know not what.
So when you celebrate these holidays, you worshiping, but you don't know what you worship.
Right.
Read on.
We know that we worship.
We know what we worship. We
Right.
worship the God of Israel.
That's right.
And we can explain our holy days and our feast days through the precepts.
Right.
When we ask you about Halloween, you can't explain it because you know not what you worship.
Right.
That's pretty much it on that. Go to that.
The Samhain, right? It is a Gaelic festival marking the end of the harvest season
Marking the end of the harvest season. Keep reading.
and beginning of winter, or what they call the darker half of the year.
Right, so we about to enter into wintertime. Right? Matter of fact, look up when winter come in. Look up when winter come in this year.
Well, like December 20th.
Hey, sometimes you got to get into the dates. and the numerology behind this thing. Now you don't want to bug yourself out with it. You got to know what you're doing in this thing. You got to be a grown man to eat that meat.
This is a cut to prove that a new year is not December 31st. They call this the darker half. Why would your new year be in the darker half?
Right.
Good point, brother. Good point, brother.
It said December 21st.
December 21st.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's it.
Yeah, that was
Right. So there you have it, man. That's according to Esau.
Mm-hmm.
But he really don't know because he's losing his wit. Right? But pretty much we entering into the wintertime.
Right.
All right, keep reading.
In the Northern Hemisphere, it is held on the 1st of November, but with celebrations beginning on the evening of the 31st of October.
And on the what?
31st of October.
On the what?
31st of October.
The evening.
This sounds that of Halloween.
Right.
Because
right.
this is that of Halloween. Right? This is talking about Halloween. And they say at evening. Why?
Right.
Because this is left hand. We do everything on the evening time on the right hand side.
Mm-hmm.
Keep our new moons. November 9th evening. You know, whatever the case may be, whenever the new moon comes in, everything comes in that evening.
Right.
Right? But on the left hand side, they also do at evening. All right? Keep reading.
As the Celtic day began and ended at sunset. This is about halfway between the autumn equinox and winter solstice. It is one of the 4 quarter days associated with Gaelic seasonal festivals, along with Imbolc, Beltane, and Lugazna. Historically,
All right, read it again, read it slow. Read it loud, too.
it is one of the 4 quarter days associated with Gaelic seasonal festivals, along with Imbolc,
Symbolic,
Beltane,
Beltane,
and Lugazna.
right? These are all holidays. Okay, these are all holidays. Right? You got Christmas, so-called New Year's, and you got Groundhog's Day. Right? You got a lot of these wicked pagan traditions. Keep reading.
Historically, it was widely observed throughout Ireland and Scotland and the Isle of Man, where it is called Samhain.
Right? And Salakia, who ruled during that time? The Israelites. We ruled during the Dark Ages, so Israelites were into this. All right? You got it.
A similar festival was held by the Britannic Celtic people called Cailín Gaith.
Celtics were Israelites. Right. You got it.
In Wales, Calan Gaeaf and Cornwall, and Calan Gaeaf and Britain.
Keep reading.
Samhain is believed to have Celtic pagan origins.
What?
Samhain is believed to have Celtic pagan origins.
Pagan. Meaning heathenistic.
Right.
You got it.
And some Neolithic passage tombs in Ireland are aligned with the sunrise at the time of Samhain. It is first mentioned in the earliest Irish literature from the 9th century, and it is associated with many important events in Irish mythology. The early literature says Samhain was marked by great gatherings and feasts, and was when the ancient burial mounds were open, which were seen as portals to the other world.
To the other world, to the spiritual realm. Right?
Stuff, man.
And they say that's when the portal to the spiritual realm is at its thinnest.
And that's why on Halloween they dress up in different costumes of ghouls and monsters. So when a so-called
invoking demons.
yeah, when they're walking on the earth, they can recognize you as their own, so it won't mess with you.
Yep. All pagan.
That's right.
Right? So keep reading on to that.
Some of the literature also associates Samhain with bonfires and sacrifices.
Hold on now, that sounds like Halloween parties. Bonfires, sacrifices, pig roasts.
That's true. That's true, brother.
Keep reading.
The festival did not begin to be recorded in detail until the early modern era. It was when cattle were brought down from the summer pastures and when livestock were slaughtered as a Beltane special bonfires were lit.
See that? So sacrifices they were making. And they was, of course they were sacrificing unclean animals. Pigs, ravens. They
Everybody got a minute for the Bible today?
Crows.
Definitely crows.
You know, all kind of abominable flesh. I keep reading on to that. Also, Keep reading on to that. Then we're gonna go into the Druids and Halloween.
These were deemed to have protective and cleansing powers, and there were rituals involving them.
Hold up, there were rituals. So, hey man, you think your life just consists of going to the club, watching Netflix, dealing with women? It's deeper than that, Israel. You got people out here that actually commit rituals and sacrifices, man. That's why you in those conditions. They put spirit of prostitution in your community, adultery, homosexuality. They push all those spirits in your community, right? Because you got demons and principalities over different sections of the earth. They tell you that in Daniel the 10th chapter. You got the king of Grecia, the king of Persia. Those were all spirits that was reigning over those kingdoms during that time. It's a spirit over Detroit. It's a spirit over New York, DC, Atlanta. For example, how you got mayors and politicians in cities and states. You have demons over these different